Alright, hello YouTube. Today we'll be going over literally everything that's happening in next patch in a little bit of more details, alright, shall we? Let's see. So this is the official webpage they have. I can clearly see the 20 FPS here. So first, Silverwolf is going to be the first banner of patch 1.1. Yeah, so Silverwolf banner is going to be with Danheng, Asta, and Servo. Oh wow, you can view the 3D model here. No way. Right, so Silverwolf, what does she do? Silverwolf's skill is she targets one enemy and she puts a random elemental weakness on that enemy corresponding to the element of your team. So if you have 3 fire character and 1 Silverwolf, she's gonna have a 75% chance of putting that fire weakness on the enemy and a 25% chance to put quantum weakness on that enemy, right? I don't think it adds the same element that the enemy already has. So if the enemy already has quantum weakness, she won't add it on them. Silverwolf is a character that essentially tries to enable a mono element team. Like that's her main gimmick with her skill, right? A lot of people are talking about it, and a lot of people were comparing Silverwolf to Kazuha in Genshin Impact for some reason. I can tell you that that is not a good comparison, like at all, okay? So first of all, Kazuha, you can essentially choose what elemental weakness you want to put on the enemy. There's no RNG, there is no resistance, and you apply it to all enemies. Silverwolf, the first RNG roll you go is the RNG roll of your element on your team. So depending on the ally on your team, the highest chance is 75% currently. Unless you have a 4 quantum character team, it will make it 100%. But currently, it's 75%. Second roll is enemy effect resistance. So even if you have 80% effect hit rate on Silverwolf against a level 80 plus boss enemy, the chance of you applying that debuff at max would be 70% to 75% either way, because level 80 and plus bosses has really high effect resistance, okay? So you have to jump through 2 RNG layer, and the third RNG layer is something different. Most bosses level 80 and up have over 160 speed. So even though your debuff might last 3 turns or so, the boss will usually act first before your team act. It's more of like 2 turns, okay? So that is the current, I would say, issue with Silverwolf, but not really issue. It's just how she has to deal with, right? Silverwolf isn't Kazuha, and I wouldn't compare her as such. Silverwolf is a fun character that enables different team comp. In my opinion, Silverwolf is a really good character when she gets her second ban on her rerun. Currently, we just do not have enough characters in the game to make good use of Silverwolf's skill set, right? Like, if you were to build a normal team, what would you do? You need a healer, a tank, a Silverwolf, and a DPS, right? Or you can run 2 DPS, Silverwolf, and a healer. Your healer is gonna be off element, right? Unless you play like a DPS that's either physical, imaginary, or electric, right? So it's very restrictive currently. There's not a lot of teams you can do for Silverwolf. Most of the time, you're gonna end up with rainbow teams for Silverwolf, you know? So yeah, that is my take on Silverwolf's unique mechanic. Next, Silverwolf Ultimate does a chunk of damage to a single enemy and reduces their defense. So it's a single target Pella. It should be a higher defense reduction than Pella. I think currently Pella Ultimate reduces defense by 37% for all enemy for 2 turns. Considering Silverwolf Ultimate is a single target defense down, that defense down better be like 80% or some shit. That defense down might be ridiculously high, right? So it's a cool defense down for bosses, right? And then her passive is whenever Silverwolf damages an enemy, she applies a random bug that reduces the enemy attack, defense, or speed. This is cool. Ideally, you drop their speed all the time. However, that's not gonna happen, right? So Silverwolf is a gacha gamer. Her kit has a lot of loopholes and RNG shit you have to jump through, but if everything hits, it hits. My final verdict for Silverwolf is that she's gonna be a better character, a much stronger character whenever we have more and more characters in the game. However, currently, we just do not simply have enough characters to make use of her elemental weakness debuff. I would still use Silverwolf just as a single target Pella because she's gonna help your single target damage character a lot, right? You put Silverwolf single target defense down on a boss and Silly just shits on it, right? Stuff like that, you know? Alright, that is Silverwolf. Next is LUOCHA. Man. I want to say this right out bat. I don't think any character is a must-pull in this game, but LUOCHA is unfair currently because most free-to-play player only have 1 healer. So LUOCHA is suddenly a really good pull for a lot of players, okay? All right, so LUOCHA, what is LUOCHA? LUOCHA is an attack scaling healer. So his healing scales off attack with higher attack. He'll also poke enemy for more damage with his sword, right? His basic attack is just a normal basic attack. His skill is a heal, like any other heal, like Natasha heal. It heals an ally and it also removes one debuff from them. However, there's a second part to his skill. When an ally drops below half health, it will automatically activate and heal them and cleanse the debuff from them. This can be activated once every 2 turns of LUOCHA. If your LUOCHA has higher speed, you get to get the refresh quicker, right? So that is his skill. His ultimate is he attacks every enemy on the field, remove 1 buff from all of them, and I think you can also imprison them if you break their imaginary shield. His ultimate is just an AoE strip. Now, his other passive is a fun one. Whenever you use your skill or your ultimate, you get 1 stack of this flower. At 2 stack of the flower, you generate a lifesteal aura for 2 turns. Whenever ally attack enemy, they heal based on LUOCHA attack. LUOCHA ult is not an AoE heal that heals all allies like Bailu or Natasha. So his AoE healing comes from the Lifesteal Aura passive, right? And that's how he sustained his team against AoE damage. That is LUOCHA's kit. And we have one more. Hold on. LUOCHA has a 70% passive resistance to crowd control debuff. He has a 70% resistance to freeze, imprison, and other debuff. He is very hard to lock down. So that is LUOCHA, right? I don't know why they decided to give this guy every fucking utility in the world. Like why? What the hell is this? His main weakness is that he scales off attack and not health, so he can get one-shotted by bosses, right? He's just as squishy as any other DPS. So pair him with a tank and you should be fine. His healing is quite cheap, because it is automatic. So LUOCHA gameplay is he's gonna basic attack almost 100% of the time, since his healing can be activated automatically when an ally is low health. For LUOCHA, I would probably run speed boost and energy regeneration on him, because having your ult more will trigger your lifesteal aura more as well. I would probably run LUOCHA on the Musketeer set. So the Musketeer set gives you every stat LUOCHA needs. You get 12% attack, you get speed, and you get basic attack damage. Guess what LUOCHA is doing all the time? He's gonna fucking poke his goddamn sword. But yeah, it's basically made for him, right? Next is Yukong. I don't know if I read her name right. Yukong is a 4-star imaginary element character that is also going to be given for free in patch 1.2, because MiHoYo wants to give a free character of every element to the player base. I'm assuming Yukong will be given for free permanently, but if not, she's only gonna be given in patch 1.2, because like imaginary element is the only element we don't get for free, right? We get Asta for free, Servo for free, Marsh, Danheng, Natasha, and QQ, right? We don't have an imaginary yet. I don't think Yukong is Ting Yun's mom, even though there's like small Ting Yun here. Yukong is quite a simple character. Her elemental skill, her E, you buff your entire team and you give them an attack buff for 2 turns or 2 attack. If you attack twice, the buff is gone for the entire team, right? So my idea of how you play Yukong is you use Yukong E, and then if you're playing like a DPS, you use their E into their ultimate, right? Or their ultimate into their E, stuff like that, right? So you get 2 hits off the buff up. I don't think you have to use Yukong's skill every single turn. Rather than just use your skill whenever you need like a little bit bigger burst, because for some reason, in my mind, Yukong is gonna do some quite decent amount of damage. Who knows, right? And her ultimate gives your team a crit rate and crit damage buff, and you do damage to 1 enemy. Quite simple, right? I think she applied the buff first before she does the damage, so she does benefit from her own ult. We'll see, right? And obviously, a critical rate and a critical damage buff benefits everyone. This is really good since in the future, there's Blade. Blade does not benefit from attack buff too well, but he benefits from damage buff and crit buff. So Yukong might be one of the only buffer that work with Blade, other than Bronya, but Bronya's a 5-star, right? Yukong is going to be on LUOCHA banner. I think the banner is going to be LUOCHA, Yukong, Hela, and QQ. In my eyes, currently, I think think LUOCHA Yukong banner has higher value than Silverwolf banner. Unless you're playing Silverwolf Sealy, I would generally go for LUOCHA banner if you don't have a second healer yet, and you also will get a damage buffer as well on the same banner, right? So that's my take. Silverwolf's Lightcone. Increase the wearer effect hit rate by 24%. When the wearer attacks an enemy with 3 or more debuff, increase crit rate by 12%. When you use basic attack, skill, or ultimate to do damage to an enemy, there's a 100% chance to apply Aether Code that increases the damage the enemy take by 12% for 1 turn. So essentially, this is just like a bunch of 4-star Lightcone combined together, right? It is Resolution as Pearls of Sweat, which has a 100% chance to apply a defense break debuff, right? However, the debuff Silverwolf applies is a damage amplifier debuff. So that is more valuable. Or they put it like that because if you defense shred an enemy and defense shred again, the second defense shred will take the reduced defense. So the more defense shred you have, the weaker it is. But if you have defense shred on Silverwolf ultimate and damage amplification on her Lightcone, it stacks well. It doesn't hurt each other. So that's why, right? Would I pull this Lightcone? It's cool, but does it break the game like Sealy Lightcone and Jingyuan Lightcone? No, not really. It's cool of a 5-star Lightcone. It has good art and thighs, I guess. If you want to play Silverwolf and main her, yeah, go ahead. You can pull this and pull her Lightcone. Just, you know, fit the style, yeah? It's great. Next is Echoes of the Coffin. Increase attack of the wearer by 24%. When the wearer uses ultimate, increase all ally speed by 12 for 1 turn. When the wearer attack an enemy, generate 3 energy. When the wearer attack 3 enemy, generate 9 energy. Okay, I guess. Would I use this? Probably not. I mean, like, it's cool. It's a stat stick, but like, probably not. Even though LUOCHA has resistance to crowd control debuff, I would still run perfect timing on LUOCHA. It gives you 16 to 32 effect resistance. The reason why you want more effect resistance on LUOCHA, even though he already has crowd control debuff, is that if you have effect resistance on LUOCHA, LUOCHA won't have to heal himself. He just resists the debuff, so he will take less damage overall throughout the fight, right? Later on, enemies apply a lot of goddamn debuff, especially in Hall of Chaos. Those normal enemy can apply a goddamn minus 50% defense every hit. That would kill your team. It is so weird. I guess you can kind of not run this if your tank consistently take all the aggro. Great, right? But if the enemy does an AoE attack, like the burning robot guy, you're gonna have a burn on you, right? It's gonna be annoying to try to clear the burn debuff from all 4 ally. But if you have the lifesteal aura, you can kind of ignore the debuff. I prefer this on LUOCHA as his perfect 4-star option. It has his face on it. It's perfect. Good enough, all right? And the ice debuff. Oh, right. The ice debuff that reduces your speed. That is true. There is an ice debuff that enemy give you that does not stun you. However, it reduces your speed by up to 36%. So I would run perfect timing on him. All right, lastly, this is the free-to-play Lightcone we're getting. Before the tutorial mission start, you get this Lightcone at Superimpose level 5 for free. This will increase your effect hit rate by up to 40%, and whenever you hit an enemy with reduced defense, you gain 4 to 8 energy. So essentially, this just gives you free effect hit rate, yeah? This is really good on Silverwolf and potentially other Nihility character as well. However, other Nihility character does have better option, okay? For Pella, best option is Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat. Why is it the best option on her? It's quite simple. Whenever Pella debuff an enemy, she gets 8.1 energy back or higher depending on your trace level, right? So if you have this Lightcone on Pella, she basically has 30% energy regeneration or 25% energy regeneration for her skill, right? Whenever she uses anything, just basic attack, skill, ult, anything. This is uniquely good on Pella, but it is a gacha Lightcone. For Welt can also use Resolution because his skill hits 3 to 4 times and his ult also hits multiple times. So you can trigger this effect multiple times. Even if you have slow Superimpose level, you still have a high chance of applying the debuff. For Sample, it's Eyes of Prey because it increases effect hit rate and increases damage over time. For Kafka, it's gonna be Formata because it increases break effect and increase damage against enemy with shock or wind shear. But Kafka isn't out yet. The free Lightcone that you get can be used on every single Nihility character. It is not the best in slot on a lot of them. So this is a good Lightcone. I like it. It's a fairly balanced free Lightcone. Next, environmental visual. We get the museum. No way. And events. So the first event of next patch is Gift of Odyssey. After the update comes out until the patch ends, you get up to a total of 10 summons after you log in for 7 days. No way. This game is more generous than Genshin Impact already. What the fuck? And the second event is Star Hunt time. This is where you get the free-to-play before the tutorial mission start Lightcone. You also get one of those things to upgrade your character's talent, some gems and stuff. Hopefully, every event gives you 600 gems now. And this museum gives you a resin relic thingy. So you can choose a main stat of your relic with that item. It's the same item in the battle pass. And the other event is, this is just a combat event, right? It gives you gems, it gives you some resource, pretty comfy. Planar Fissure. During this event, the amount of drops you get from Simulated Universe is doubled. So you get 2 relic instead of 1. Holy shit, this game is better than Genshin already. We only get like EXP book double. What the hell? Only 2 times a day? That's enough. At TL60, you get 4 relic instead of 2. So it doubles what you have. Wow. Next event. Simulated Combat. Yeah, just more gems. Garden of Plenty. You get double EXP, credits, and traces material as well. What the fuck? So you get double relic. You get double traces as well. Okay, cool. Next is gameplay. Companion mission. So next update, we do not have a new main story quest. We only have 4 character quests. Pretty cool. Pretty comfy. That's a decent amount of content, I guess. Friend chat. You can finally shit talk your friend or send those emotes. Enemy navigation. You can now mark the enemy you want to kill. For example, if you don't know where to get this material, there's gonna be another bar where you click Rivet Town enemy. It's actually gonna mark that enemy and pinpoint to their location. So yeah, it's just basically a treasure hunt thingy, right? For the last event, we have the Lost Trotter. Every time you enter a combat encounter around the overworld, there's a chance to spawn a Trotter, and the Trotter will give you extra material drop. I hope it gives you gem. I wish it gives you gem. I think it's okay if it gives you gem. Pretty sure these guys are limited to a certain amount of times that they can be killed a day though. But if not, it's gonna be like Genshin. Alright, I think that's all, right? That is all. Alright, so what is the biggest takeaway in this video? If you like the character, pull the character. Ignore whatever the fuck I said this video. Good night.